Hello witches, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to go ahead and do our reading for the dark moon on May 30th, and we are also in a Mercury Retrograde right now that ends on June 4th. That will also be coming to an end around the time of this new moon. So I will show you real quick in the Witch's Almanac. You can see the week of the dark moon. Okay, heading into June, and as we're heading into June and heading into my birthday on the 7th, and we also have the Pluto Retrograde still ongoing. If you guys remember, go rewatch the last reading that I did, and the big warning with that of the major death energy, that is still ongoing until October 8th. So do not forget about the warning in that video, and continue to keep your protections up frequently, regularly for you and your loved ones, okay? It's very important that we do this at this time. There's a lot of death going on right now. There's been these mass shootings, or some of them have been stopped, thankfully, before they even began, catching people in the act and stuff of preparing. And there's also been a lot of death of pets, I've noticed at this time. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook posting about their pets getting very ill or dying. One of our kittens died last week, a couple days after the blood moon. So I've been having some difficulties with that myself. But definitely pay special attention to your pets. If you notice anything with their health or with their behavior, just don't take any chances, okay? And if you are one of the people who has lost a pet like I did, my condolences to you. I send all my love and hope that you will find peace. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be all from the Witch's Almanac, and just sort of a recap of the last video and what I wanted to say with that. Now let's talk about what I'm psychically feeling going into this dark moon. I really feel a sense of getting in touch with darker aspects of self. Now that we're like a little bit further into this Pluto retrograde, I feel like that's what's going on with this. What I'm feeling now, sort of, as there's this dark energy around us during the Pluto retrograde, and these death energies, these energies of mortality, these energies of appreciation of life, for cherishing the moment, right? What little time we have in our lifetime, cherishing that, enjoying it, finding pleasure, right? I'm feeling the sense of getting in touch with these darker energies within ourselves, almost like the horned god, that primal energy, the energy of the life force, of joy and bliss and ecstasy, even sexuality, all of these sort of things. It's actually very common that death and sex energy go together. If you look at things like the Gede in voodoo, spirits of fertility and death, things like that. Even with the horned god, the hunter and the prey, there's this energy of death, but also an energy of fertility, rebirth, life mixed within that. And that's what I'm sort of getting in touch with lately. Actually, since the blood moon through to now, I've been really getting in touch with the horned god energy, and almost feel like that I'm wanting to sort of shift my spiritual focus even off of the goddess to the horned god. I've always worked with the horned god, Cernunnos, Hearn, Pan. That's always been a deity that I've worked with on the periphery of my practice for years and years back. But I feel at this time like I'm being called to really go into that energy and let it become almost my main focus of my practice. I'll talk about this more in a different video, like that's just on the subject matter rather than here in the reading video. But I just wanted to touch on that because that is something that I feel is connected to these energies at this time. So maybe you're feeling that too. So going along with that theme, for today's reading, I'm actually going to be using a deck that I don't think I've ever used this on the channel really. We're going to use the Gothic Tarot. Also, it was World Goth Day the other day. I missed doing anything for it, so that's kind of why I'm dressed like this for you guys today. But we're going to use the Goth Tarot. This is by Joseph Vargo. I got this, or it's illustrated by Joseph Vargo. I got this deck for like my 18th birthday, I think, from my satanic aunt. So I love this deck. I really loved it at the time when I got it. I was really much more goth and dark at that time period, so it really fit me. But I've obviously grown over the years and sort of changed. But there's a lot of vampiric energy with this deck, and that's sort of what I want to use this deck for, these energies that are going on right now. Once again, that death energy, sex energy, sort of commingling, you know, that is what the vampire sort of represent almost. So that's what we're going to use for this reading. And I will also pull a rune card from the Wood and Bone and Path Unknown Gay Runic Oracle by St. Jinx Art. Okay, so we're going to pull a rune card from this as well, sort of as our little oracle card to go along with this. I don't really use this deck too much on the channel, and I really need to start using it more on the channel. I really love this deck. So, and also let me know what you guys think of the Gothic Tarot if you want me to use it more as well. See, this deck is really cool. Look at the High Priestess. Egyptian Priestess as the High Priestess. This is such a cool deck. But yeah, that's what's waiting on the bottom right when I pull it out. Take from that what you will. Please give us your divine guidance for this dark moon, end of Mercury retrograde, and going further into Pluto retrograde. What do we need to know or do or be aware of at this time so that we can use these energies for our highest good, greatest success and joy? Please give us your guidance now. Thank you, and so mote it be. That felt very magnetic. The first card that we have is the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords, I feel very much resonates with the Mercury retrograde sort of coming to an end, and also with the Pluto retrograde energy, because the Knight of Swords is very much an energy of rushing into things, rushing into battle, ready to fight or argue or, you know, butt heads at the drop of a dime. Basically, with miscommunication with the Mercury retrograde, that could be part of this. There might be a sense that people are intentionally trying to misunderstand you, even with this energy. So that's the sort of negative aspects of this card and the sort of warning that comes along with it. If you find yourself in a situation like this, try to take the high road and, you know, be the bigger person in that situation. Keep your cool, you know that it's these energies that are sort of twisting. Actually had a dream last night of tornadoes a lot, and that's kind of what I'm thinking of now with the Knight of Swords energy. It almost is, it's like a whirlwind that just comes through and just causes chaos and destruction of that air element, that mental element, that communication element, right? That is sort of what this energy is. So just be wary of that. Don't get caught up in it. Okay, try, because in the dream that I had, I was actually using magic to dissipate tornadoes that kept popping up. So that's what I'm feeling with this. Try to disarm these type of situations if they come up for you around this time period. You could inject humor when people are trying to get too serious or try to, you know, fight. A lot of times I've been able to stop arguments and people getting really angry just by making jokes and stuff and making light of things, even making fun of myself. Things like that can really shift the energies around. You can take charge of the throat chakra, of that communication. Even when it's darker, you can take charge of it by injecting your light and your positivity into things and dissipating that energy, turning it into something else. So that's something that I'm feeling is coming through with this. The Knight of Swords also represents ingenuity and creativity. So it's using your communication in that way to fix problems, right? That's pretty much what's going on here. And perfect follow-up for that, we have the Six of Wands. I love this card so much. You know what this reminds me of? The Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. What do they call that guy? The Headless Horseman. I forgot what they called him in that movie, but it reminds me of him before he got his head chopped off. If you know, you know. Anyway, but the Six of Wands represents victory, overcoming obstacles, breaking through challenges, coming out the victor, getting the high ground in a situation. This is taking this Knight of Swords energy and basically doing what I advised and coming out on top, coming out the victor with that. Not in a combative way, but in a way that you just totally transform the situation. You take charge of it in that way and you turn it into something else. You do not engage, you do not fight, right? You just change the entire situation into something else, and in that way you win. But everybody wins when you do that, because Six of Wands is also about sharing your victory with others. So when you are able to transform situations like that, everybody wins. There's no loser. That's what this is representing here. And along with that, the Six of Wands also has a message of preparing for the next thing. Just stay prepared, stay on alert with this energy too. Like, yeah, you overcome something, you break through, you come out the victor, you share that victory, everybody wins, but don't stop there. Stay alert, stay aware with this energy. It's like the next battle, right? There's always going to be another one, or at least at this time there's going to be another one. So just keep on guard. And that actually makes sense too with the Pluto retrograde message that I was giving, the warning with that. Stay keeping your protections up as well. Continue to, this needs to be going through October 8th at least. Okay, keep this in mind. Stay alert, stay aware, stay protective of yourself and others. And don't forget that you have that power to change situations. That's a huge thing that sometimes we lose touch with. Don't forget that. The final card from the Gothic Tarot is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups, forgive my nail polish chipping, by the way. I just noticed that. So ratchet. But yeah, the Ten of Cups is the card of fulfillment and satisfaction, attainment, emotionally, spiritually, physically, but more so it's highlighted in the emotional and spiritual aspect, because we can be surrounded by the fulfillment of our wishes on a physical level, and we can still be discontent for some reason in some way, right? And that's more what the Nine of Cups might represent. Not always, but it could represent sort of getting what you want, but it doesn't satisfy you, okay? With the Ten of Cups, there is that satisfaction. There's that completeness, satiation. So it seems like overall what we're seeing with these three cards is basically your power to change situations, shift focus, shift energies out of this sort of turmoil and chaos, and take charge of that, direct it with your own power, your own words, your own communication and actions, positive words, positive communication, and shifting everything to your favor and really to the benefit of everyone. Once again, with the Six of Wands, there's no losers. Everybody wins with this because you're sharing your positive energy in that way. And then that's when we get the Ten of Cups. Satisfaction, fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, and abundance. Everybody's happy with this as well. Not just you, but your family, your friends, everyone that's around you in your circle is also blessed with this energy. It's that abundant 10, right? So that's what we have with that. I'm really happy that this reading is so positive. And we'll go ahead and pull one of the rune cards now. And right on the bottom of the deck is Tiwaz. And also, once again, too, I don't have the names pronunciation memorized of the runes either, so forgive me if I mispronounce anything. So this is what we have on the bottom of the deck. It's actually one of my favorite runes. I love this rune. If I'm not mistaken, this is the rune that's associated with the god Tyr, which I've always sort of preferred over Odin. That old school, old god that was replaced by Odin. You know, that type of energy. I sort of relate to him more. So you can see he's getting his arm chopped by Fenrir, right? That old story. Sacrifice for the greater good. Sort of relates to the Six of Wands almost. Okay, but yeah, that was just on the bottom of the deck. We're not going to really go into detail on that one. But I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and pull a card that we will read. Wouldn't that be hilarious if Tiwaz comes out as the card? Probably won't though. Please give us a rune for this dark moon, for this ending of Mercury Retrograde, and for going further into Pluto Retrograde, which we need to know or do or be aware of at this time for our highest good, greatest success and joy. Please give us your guidance now. Thank you, and so it be. Once again, felt very magnetic. This deck, y'all. So this is the card that came out. We have Manaz. Manaz is part of the third 8, tiers 8, where the runes are divided into 3 sections of 8 each. This is the one that's ruled by Tyr, so that's interesting. Governed by the warrior god Tyr, who willingly lost his hand while binding the cosmic wolf Fenrir, these runes deal with sacrifices to better oneself and for the greater good. The third 8 reflects social matters, such as interactions with family and other kinfolk, home life, beliefs, and personal growth. So that's just a little summary of what Tiers 8 represents. Now let's actually go to the Manaz rune. Whereas the previous rune related to partnership/companionship, Manaz represents the individual as an element of a collective. As humans, we have self-awareness, the ability to think, create, feel a myriad of emotions, and honor, love, earthly and astral beings. Although imperfect, man strives to learn, grow, be of use to himself and others, and establish himself in the world by making an impact, no matter how small. The man on the card sits attentively, alone, yet prepared to contribute to his fellow man or community. His eyes contain the fires of desire, to achieve greater things and aspire to reach the grace of the gods. The potential to do great work on this earthly plane is in his hands. That passionate energy, that fiery energy. The key words for this card are introspective, observant, intelligence, devout, orderly yet free thinking, student becomes the teacher, aspirational, artistic, awareness, the self. So the very creative energy as well. It's almost tying back to, once again, the Knight of Swords energy with that aspect of creativity and intelligence, ingenuity, things like that. And I feel like this also does very much fit with the Six of Wands, right? Being prepared as well. Staying prepared. Ready to go into battle. Ready to face challenges and face battles. Face opposition. You're prepared to do it. But once again, it's not from an aspect of fighting. It's actually from a more strategic aspect of defeating things, overcoming things with this energy, being of service to the people in the world around you, awareness of your power, awareness of yourself and what you're capable of doing, how you can change things, change the tide, shift the situation, being introspective and observant of others and of situations as they develop There's a lot of power in that and strategizing in that way. Once again, with the warning of the Knight of Swords, don't rush into battle. Sit there and think about it. When someone comes at you, when someone challenges you, keep your head, keep your cool. Find ways to disarm the situation, disengage. So this whole reading is a calling to a higher way of thinking. In some ways, it's about getting out of the moment, even taking a step back. At least when it comes to these type of situations, you want to stay grounded, you want to stay centered. Don't allow yourself to be pulled this way or that way. You know, once again with the tornado reference, don't allow yourself to be caught up into the turbulence and the chaos of other people's energy, right? You can stay grounded, you can stay centered, and have this higher mind, this higher intelligence, this observance of things, and allow that to be what guides your actions. And it does take a higher level of thinking and compassion, even once again with the Tiers 8 being cards of sacrifice for the greater good of the self and of others. It does take that level of almost maturity and compassion to, when someone is coming at you in some kind of way, for you to still have the higher perspective and be the bigger person and take the high road and even try to benefit that person as well as yourself in that way. In whatever way you shift the situation, you shift the tone of things around. So there's that aspect to this as well. Basically, it's almost an energy of like checking yourself first, staying centered, staying grounded. Don't let yourself be swayed this way or that, and try to shift these energies for the greater good of all involved. Okay, that's what we're getting here with these cards. That's what we're getting with this reading. And it almost sort of does touch back to what I was saying at the beginning. It's what I'm feeling psychically. Seeing the light in this energy, this Pluto retrograde, these death energies, but getting in touch with your own life force in the midst of that, right? Whether if that be through sexuality or some other rising passion or zest or zeal for life, that type of energy blossoms within the death energy, or at least it can if we decide to take it in that direction. So that's what I'm definitely feeling to summarize the rest of this reading up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully it helps you. If you would like to get in touch with me for a private reading, you can contact me through the methods below in the description box. If you would like to join my Patreon with all of my occult lessons and witchcraft, Gnosis videos, the link is for that in the description box as well. Make sure to like and subscribe if this reading helped you. Leave me a comment if this resonates with you. And as always, until next time, Hail Hecate, hail to the witches, hail to the horned god, and blessed be.